What's going on, guys? So today I wanted to make a video on going back to school since it is that time of year. It is halfway through August, so either you're already back in school or you're just about to in the next week or so. Specifically though, I wanted to focus on nursing school because I'm a nursing student. So today I actually have 5 tips for being a successful nursing student. So my name is Emily and I'm a Block 4 nursing student. I will be graduating coming up this December, which I'm very excited about. But I definitely wanted to give some tips and tricks on getting through nursing school and things that have really helped me along the way. So today I actually have 5 tips on how to be a successful nursing student. Starting with number 1, organization. And organization is kind of like a broad term, I guess you could say, but what I mean by organization is just having your schedule written down in your planner or in like an app, and then, you know, having all the materials that you may need for the following day, or just like having an organized desk. Really, it does a whole lot of good to have an organized desk. So I know a lot of schools are probably all online now. My school, all lectures are going to be online. We might have clinicals. I don't really know exactly what's going on with that. Most likely we will not have clinicals, but it doesn't mean that I can slack on organization. So what I like to do in my school semester and when school starts going is my professors will send out information on when things are due, when to expect things, when lectures will be, when I may or may not have to be on campus. So I take all that information and I put it into my Google Calendar on my iPhone. And I put in all my virtual meetings that I need to go to, and I need to watch. I have my lectures, like when they're going to be posted, what kind of content I should be looking at. And then I also like to have all the books that I might need or materials, like say I do have to go to campus for some kind of simulation. I'll make sure that I have my stethoscope, my notes. I make sure that I have, you know, the MAR for the next day that we're going to be running through, things like that. So really it's just all about being on top of everything and having everything organized. So that's my first tip. Secondly, prioritize nursing school. You spend a lot of time probably trying to get into nursing school, and you've studied really hard to get into nursing school, like, don't let it slip away. Most people are really good about this. They understand like this comes first before all else, but you really have to put your studying before anything else. And it feels kind of selfish. This is something that I struggled with a lot a couple semesters ago, because I had a lot of family things coming up, and I felt like I couldn't be there for my family, and I felt very selfish because I was putting nursing school above everything else. But really, that's what it takes to get through this. So prioritize nursing school, prioritize your studying, and then communicate with your family so that way they're on the same page and they know how big and important this is to you. A lot of times, like, your family, you probably already know, you've probably been talking about nursing school for quite a while, so a lot of times they're already on board, but really just try to tell them, explain to them, show them like how important nursing school is to you, so that way everyone's on board and they kind of all understand that this is what comes first. Tip number 3, be flexible. So there are a lot of things that will kind of change throughout the semester. Dates change, you might have different clinicals, clinical locations may change, clinicals may be canceled. And for example, what happened earlier in the year, lectures got transitioned all online. That was a big learning curve for everybody, and it required a lot of flexibility. You had to make a lot of changes in your daily life, and you know, that's just the theme in nursing school. Like, I literally feel like I've been flying by the seat of my pants since day one of nursing school. And you know what? I don't know. That's just how it is. I don't know what else to call it, but you just gotta be flexible and roll with the punches. You know, it's very hard for some people to do that, but if you go in with an open mind and, you know, you don't fight it, you go with it, really. That's all there is to it. Alright, tip number 4. So this is for the people that, you know, want to know how to pass nursing school. My number one go-to thing when I'm studying is I create my own study guide. So there's so many different ways that you can take notes. Personally, I have, since school is online now, I went ahead and got a monitor I can hook up to my computer, and then I also have an iPad. It's a lot of technology going on at once, but it's kind of just what works for me. But I go through the notes or the lecture, I annotate it, or I kind of write down things that are important, and then I go back into another document, either in OneNote or Microsoft Word, and I kind of start writing everything out that was important, things that my professor hit on multiple times, and I kind of start building my own study guide for that actual lecture. After I do that, then I go into my text and I will clarify information from my text and kind of put a little more points into my actual notes. So definitely find a way that works for you when it comes to studying. But I have found that creating your own study guide is definitely one of the top ways to learn the material. And 5th and last tip that I have for this video is get adequate sleep. I know it's like really tempting to like pull all-nighters, especially before an exam, but it doesn't help you. I promise, like, that does not help. What is going to make you more successful as a student and on exams is going back to your organization, pulling out all the notes that you made, because you organized them, you know exactly where to find them, and you're going to pull out all the content for the next exam, and you're going to start studying that at least like 3 days before the exam. I always study or start studying 3 days before an exam. Now, I have done exams where maybe I studied 2 or 1 day before, and that just makes me nervous as heck because there's so much material. The chapters are no joke, and getting through the material is just, it's hard. And when each lecture, I mean, depending on how your school does it, for me, each lecture in a week was probably about 6 hours, if not longer. And that's a big lecture to get through and to take notes on. That takes all day, if not 2 days or 3 days, just to take notes on the lecture. So it's really important to start studying earlier. But leading up to the exam, seriously, just get sleep. And make sure you get sleep before like you have simulations or like you have to show up for something. Like if you do end up having clinicals, make sure you get good enough sleep the night before. Like your job is to show up and learn, especially at clinicals. So prioritize like your sleep, drink enough water, and also if you need to, exercise. Exercise like running or strength training, you know, it gets your mind kind of off of the material that you've been studying, but it's still there subconsciously and you're making connections, and it's just really healthy for your brain to kind of take a break, step back, and then go back to the material that you've been studying. It's something that I do. So I will say personally, I have never pulled an all-nighter in nursing school. And that's not because that I have like a ton of time. I have a job. I worked full-time in my first year of nursing school. I have a lot of like side things that I try and do to, you know, be a better person. I have had times where I'm tempted to pull an all-nighter, but I just don't. I actually have a rule that before exams, I go to bed no later than 10 o'clock. So I try and be in bed by 9 p.m. before an exam, and I'm asleep by 10 p.m. And then what I do is I wake up early in the next morning before an exam. Usually get up probably around 5:30, and I take my time getting ready. I make sure that I have like a somewhat relaxing morning. I make my coffee. I will pull up my notes. I'll review my outline, but I'm not studying, you know? So definitely this is going to be different for everybody, but what I found that people who pull all-nighters, really they don't do any better on the exam. And I will say that my method has not failed me. So you're much better off passing every exam than you are failing an exam, then pulling an all-nighter before the next exam just to pass it. It's kind of like a pretty bad cycle that I see some people go through. You know, they fail, then they freak out, and then they think they have to study all night before the following exam. They might pass it, they might do well, but then, you know, they kind of fall off the bandwagon. So build the habit of studying well in advance, build the habit of getting enough sleep and staying hydrated, you know, throughout each week that you're going through nursing school. So that concludes the tips that I have. Best of luck to all the nursing students that are going back to school. I know being an online student is very challenging, especially for nursing school. That's not normal, but I know that everyone's going to crush it, and know that there are plenty of resources out there that will help people that have been through it, your teachers, mentors. You know, find somebody that maybe wants to help and get us a good support system throughout, because it's a long journey, but it's doable. If you got any questions about nursing school, just leave them in the comments below. I will get back to you for sure. And then if you want to see more videos, I make videos on working out, I make videos on eating and good nutrition, and I also obviously make nursing school videos. So hit the subscribe button if you want to see some more of that, but take it easy.